Song covers. They're not just for weddings or pub gigs. A great cover can elevate a song and sometimes be more successful than the original. Think Jimi Hendrix's version of All Along the Watchtower, Nirvana's The Man Who Sold the World, Johnny Cash and Hurt, The White Stripes and Jolene, Amy Winehouse and Valerie, Jeff Buckley's Hallelujah. And for a second dose of Dolly P, because one just isn't enough, let's finish with Whitney Houston's version of I Will Always Love You, shall we? They're also one of the best ways to grow your audience here on YouTube. It's how Justin Bieber began. And me. My very first YouTube video was this cover of Bobby Long's Dead and Done, filmed standing on my parents' bed. Rock and roll. You can even earn money from them. One cover in this video has earned £4,000. Another has earned nothing. Stick around to the end to find out more. Many of my early videos were versions of songs by Britney Spears, Nirvana, Bruce Springsteen, and of course, many of you will know me from this one. If you're covering popular songs, you can hit different pockets of audience who might not have otherwise found you. But there is a great deal of confusion and conflicting advice out there about how to make the most of cover versions. Do you risk getting copyright striked or having your channel demonetized or deleted? How do you go about using copyrighted content in the first place? Do you need to apply for a license? How do you do that? Now, just to be clear, this is not a video about using copyrighted music as a backing track or for teaching purposes. It's for musicians wanting to post their cover versions of others' original songs on YouTube. This has been one of the most requested videos for me to make, and, well, it's been on my mind for quite some time. In this video, I'm focusing on the money earned from 3 cover videos. But if that isn't enough, I have created a special chapter in my latest course, The Craft of Songwriting, to show you analytics of more cover songs from my channel, because listing numbers would get a little dull. The first 1,000 people to sign up get a tasty discount, and there's a link in the description below. Time for a very quick copyright history lesson. In the good old days, it was common practice for multiple versions of hit songs to be recorded and released, with the focus on the song itself rather than the performer. Section 1E of the United States Copyright Act of 1909 introduced the first compulsory mechanical license, which allowed anyone to make a mechanical reproduction of a musical composition without the consent of the copyright owner, just as long as that person adhered to the provisions of the license. US Congress had originally intended it to govern piano rolls, but as technology developed, it meant you could record and distribute your own cover version of a song once the original recording had been released, and the copyright owner was served with a notice of intention of use. A few years later, in 1917, the songwriter Victor Herbert took Shanley's Restaurant in New York all the way to the Supreme Court, demanding payment for playing one of his compositions on a player piano during their lunch service. A quick aside, I was today years old when I learned that the first player piano, that's a piano that plays itself, was invented back in 1896. And now you know. It was Supreme Court Justice Oliver Holmes, one of the most respected and cited judges in history, who upheld the right for copyright owners to receive compensation for a public performance of their compositions, even if there was no charge for admission. This ruling helped the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers adopt the royalty payment mechanism known as a blanket license, where businesses can play any composition of an ASCAP artist for an annual fee. Of course, things have changed a little bit since then, and that's where confusion sets in. One quick caveat, I am not a lawyer or legal professional. The following is based entirely on my own personal experience as someone who's been uploading cover songs on YouTube for many years. All errors are my own, always doing my best. One blog post I read in researching this video says that to legally post a cover version, you must do the following. Consult an intellectual copyright lawyer. Locate the copyright owner, negotiate royalties, and get a mechanical license to cover the song itself, and a synchronization license if you want accompanying video. While this is not wrong, it's actually unnecessary. Hiring a lawyer is beyond the means of most musicians. It's also very time-consuming for all involved. To solve this problem, YouTube has developed a very clever system of content identification that allows copyright holders to claim ownership of a song. So content ID claims are different from copyright removal requests and copyright strikes. A copyright strike will be issued if you've just straight up uploaded another person's video and claimed it as your own. And this can result in your account being deactivated. The system used to not be quite as clear, and there was such a rife problem with this in the past that some creators made 2 channels to separate out their songs from their other content just in case one was removed, but it's a lot better now. And when you upload a cover version of a song to YouTube, the melody will be identified automatically, maybe within the first hour or so of upload, before it's even public. If you're in the YouTube Partner Program, you will share the revenue with the music publisher, most of the time anyway. That's because copyright owners like a music publisher, record label, or collecting society working on their behalf can decide whether they want to allow anyone usage of their material. They can choose to block or mute your video, but most recognize that it's both a low-effort way to earn extra money for them and the artist, and good exposure for the song too. Look at how Dreams by Fleetwood Mac went viral on TikTok after Dogface's video of him drinking cranberry juice blew up and came back into the charts almost 50 years after its release. This is the new world we're living in. Some labels will take all the ad revenue, others will share it with you. You have no real say in the matter. Some artists or catalogue owners are strictly against covers. I think the only video I've ever had taken down was a Prince cover back in 2015, so things might have changed since then. But I hear that AC/DC, The Cars, and Bryan Adams are all ones to avoid, thanks to Kelly Dean Allen Guitar for that info. So too are Eagles. But I seem to have bucked the trend there because my cover of Take It Easy is still up and running, at the time of filming at least. Love you, Don Henley. I don't care what everyone says about you. Others encourage artists to cover their work. Yusuf Cat Stevens celebrated the 50th anniversary of his Tea for the Tillerman album by inviting artists, like me, to post their cover versions. The man himself commented positively on my version of Oh Very Young, which was a real thrill. Some labels around the world may have different policies, so you might find that your video is unavailable in Brazil or Norway, but available everywhere else. I haven't really found this happen to me to date, but then again, my channel isn't solely reliant on covers. Let's have a look at the analytics of a few songs, shall we? Sultans of Swing with Josh Turner. This is currently my biggest cover on my channel. It has had 3.8 million views and earned £4,563 at the time of filming, which over 2 years has helped recover the costs of me flying and staying in New York City to make this video happen. For context, a video essay with that many views, which I am yet to achieve, I'd expect to earn about £8,000. So you can surmise that it's a 50-50 split. So it's a really decent share of revenue for me as the performer and Dire Straits' Mark Knopfler as the songwriter. The bulk of that income, 72%, came from watch page ads, with YouTube Premium views making up 27%. I know some of you are curious about whether your view as a premium subscriber, i.e. no ads, leads to compensation for the creator. The answer is yes, it does. It's just categorized separately. The remaining 1% is from super thanks. Always appreciated. The CPM, cost per mil, that's the price advertisers pay for 1,000 views, is £6.20, and the RPM, that's creator revenue, is £1.21. I also gained 26,000 subscribers. Note the different types of advert allowed: skippable and non-skippable, bumper ads, display ads, and non-skippable video ads. Let's contrast that with my cover of Ed Sheeran's Shape of You. It's had 86,500 views and earned £14. A similarly viewed video essay would bring in about 200. So it's clear with this one that the label has claimed all the AdSense. You can see that only display ads are allowed, and the source of that £14 of revenue is from premium views. The CPM is £3.82 and the RPM is 17 pence. So a big difference there. My final example, my very first trio video, a cover of Miley Cyrus's song Flowers. I originally titled this The Reason I'm Single because you know why. It did the job and got 121,000 views in the first day. It's earned me a bit over £1,000, 58% from adverts and 38.6% from premium views, with just shy of 3% from super thanks. The RPM is £1.50 and the CPM is £7.85. This video was incredibly important as I created a very short, consumable advert about my fantastic How to Produce with Ableton Live course with Rachel K. Collier. You can check out that and my other courses, including our latest joint venture, The Craft of Songwriting, using the link below. If you're performing covers, you're probably working on songs of your own, or you want to. It is a perfect introduction to the craft for musicians of all levels. We cover everything from basic chords to home recording, mixing and mastering. It's a great way for you to learn more about music at your leisure, whilst also helping me be here for longer, making videos like these. All right, back to covers. There's no definitive guide out there for which label or artist allows what. I think a good exercise would be that if you're thinking of covering a song, you snoop around, see if others have covered it. If you see other versions online, you're probably good to go. If it's conspicuous by its absence, then maybe stay well clear. Some songs just aren't popular enough to get millions of views, but you might enjoy making it anyway as a musical tribute. Ultimately, while it's nice to be paid for the hard work that goes into making any kind of video, you should also recognise that with cover videos, it's just not your original creation, and your only reward might be exposure. But it's still amazing to be able to share your music and your voice and your talents with maybe millions of people around the world. Well, I hope you found this useful. Please comment below and tell me your experience with cover songs. Please do consider hitting subscribe. I would really love to get a little bit closer to that 1 million mark. But as ever, I will be seeing you here again very soon.